I'm not into that discussion. I don't think they expected me to say no. There's a little discussion about the Brewers, but Micah Parsons is one of the big sports events in Wisconsin history, and certainly one of the most surprising. And it's the Packers. And that would be the trifecta of interest. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. Caller number 5. You will be the contestant in Rayman. 15 questions stolen from ESPN, but all the aspects of it, the contest stolen from ESPN, they're all gone. Kenny Mayne, the Schwab. All that's left is, and why this is called Rain Man in honor of Dan Needles, because he did defeat the Schwab once they allowed sportscasters to compete in their trivia competition. And this is the same, 15 questions in 2 minutes. The only difference, the first question is always the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question, respecting Saganiac Planning and their strong support of Marquette. So, caller 5, we have a contestant. No need to call anymore. The contestant has been selected. Ted will be going on in a second after I continue to tell you about our great sponsors. Again, Cousin Subs. Ted automatically wins a $25 gift card from Cousin Subs and a chance, as I said, if he wins the competition, to win a $300 card, or it's about $300, Cousin Subs for a year. Pebble, you have told me this before, but I think 7 is the high so far.
7 is the correct high, Homer. Yes, we have 2 contestants tied with 7. We have Nick in Sussex and Matt in Tosa.
Nick and Matt are tied for the lead at 7, which means they cannot compete. If you are the leader or one of the leaders, you cannot compete. If somebody gets to 8, then Nick and Matt will be back in the game. Saganiac Planning, I have finally got it right. They were for so long a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, and then I realized I'm not doing them justice, because the reason, one of them, they are so good with the complexities of employee benefits because they've been doing it well for over 50 years. So Saganiac Planning is now, appropriately, a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and been killing it, doing it well. Doing it well is probably better. For over 50 years, and a phone number you can remember. All you got to remember is 783. Saganiac Planning, 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
Joining us now is Ted in Mayville. I never ask our contestants how they're doing because I really don't care. But I do want to know their Rain Man resume so our audience has some idea of how well they might do. Ted, your Rain Man resume, please.
It's been a while since I've actually gotten through, and so I can't even remember. It's been a couple of years since I got through, so can't help you out there, Homer.
But you the first question you already know is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. There's no need to give you additional information. Are you ready to go?
Sure, let's do it.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. With what overall pick was Dwayne Wade in the NBA draft?
5th.
Correct. How old is Micah Parsons?
26.
Correct. With what overall pick was Parsons taken in the 2021 NFL draft?
12.
Correct. True or false? Penn State offered Parsons a football scholarship when he was in 7th grade. True or false?
True.
Incorrect. How many seasons did Parsons play at Penn State?
3.
Incorrect. Parsons wears number 1. Name the only other Packer player to wear jersey number 1.
Curly Lambeau.
Correct. He leads the major leagues with a .442 on-base percentage.
Ohtani.
Incorrect. He leads the major leagues with a .671 slugging percentage.
Schwarber.
Incorrect. Into tonight's play, the number of wins for Freddie Peralta.
15.
Excuse me?
15.
Incorrect. The Miz's ERA, 2.5, 3.5, or 4.5?
4.5.
Correct. Wins, second on the Brewers, a pitcher with exactly 11 wins.
Quintana.
Incorrect. In the Open era, name a men's tennis player with 5 U.S. Open titles.
Djokovic.
Incorrect. In the Open era, name a women's tennis player with 6 U.S. Open titles.
Serena Williams.
Incorrect. Or no, Serena Williams is correct. In 2010, the score in the Packers Super Bowl win over Pittsburgh.
Pass.
Reggie White, 6 years with the Packers. In what year did they win the Super Bowl?
97. 96
What year?
97.
Which year was that? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth?
Oh, second.
Incorrect. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6.
I have 6 as well.
Oh, Ted's
Choked
gonna.
on the Packer one. I choked.
I don't know. I don't know that you did. We'll see. With what
I
over
did.
you
I
did,
knew that.
you had the first 3 right, so you got 3 of the last 12 after 3 in a row. With what overall pick Dwayne Wade in the NBA draft? He was 5th. Who was number 1 that year when Dwayne Wade was 5th? That would have been LeBron James. How old is Micah Parsons? 26. With what overall pick was Parsons taken? He was 12. Penn State offered Parsons a football scholarship when he was in the 7th grade. Incorrect. They offered him a scholarship after he had played 4 games as a freshman. How many seasons did Parsons play at Penn State, Pebble?
I thought it was 3.
No, and I check it to make sure he didn't play the 3rd year because of COVID.
Oh, so he played 2 then, yeah.
He just
That's
played
right, yeah.
2.
It was 18, 19, and 20. He left after that.
Yeah. No, well, I don't know. No, I just think he look it up to make sure it's
He
right.
didn't play 20, so he played
Come
18,
on,
Correct.
19.
Yes.
Pebble.
Yeah, so 2.
Parsons wears number 1, so does Curly Lambeau. Pebble will get both of these right, I believe. He leads Major League Baseball with a .442 on-base percentage.
Aaron Judge.
Correct. He leads Major League Baseball with a .671 slugging percentage.
Aaron Judge.
You nailed them both. Into tonight's play, the number of wins for Freddie Peralta. You said 15. He is at
16.
what? Yeah, that's too bad. The Miz's ERA, yes, is 4.5, and that was correct. Second on the Brewers, the pitcher with exactly 11 wins. He's 11-2.
Quinn Priester.
Yes, outstanding. Now
That one.
This was tough. It's I don't know how much people even know tennis. In the Open era, name a men's tennis player with 5 U.S. Open titles.
Yeah, that got me.
Federer, Sampras, and Jimmy Connors. I don't know what Djokovic has, but it's not 5. In the Open era, name a women's tennis player with 6 U.S. Open titles. You got one of the 2, Serena Williams, and the other is Chris Everett. In 2010, the score in the Packers Super Bowl win over Pittsburgh.
31-25.
Nailed it. And this one is very important with Micah Parsons. Reggie White, 6 years with the Packers. In which year did they win the Super Bowl?
I think it was his 4th.
4th is correct. It took 4 years with Reggie White to win the Super Bowl. So I feel bad. You probably you definitely had a 7 there. But Ted, which one's the worst? Which hurts the most?
The Packers score. I knew that one. I just had a brain fart.
Well, you're better than I. It wasn't a brain fart. I don't remember any numbers. All right. Well, you're not in, but the best part is, Ted, because you didn't get to 7, you could compete again next week and get 8 or 9. So it's not all bad. There you go. Thanks for playing. Yes, what everybody needs to know is Micah Parsons has been appropriately compared to Reggie. It was not until the 4th year, and as has been mentioned by others, Reggie White, when he came to the Packers, was, I believe, 31, correct? And Micah Parsons, 26. So even at 31, Reggie was 35, I would guess.
Yeah, he was like 31, 32, I think. Reggie
he was about 35. Now, the part with Parsons playing at Penn State, they did play football that year, right? He just chose not to play because of COVID.
Correct, yeah, and Penn State was awful.
That year they were?
Yeah, I think they won once.
Right. They just didn't have players that played. What did they play, like 7 games that year or something?
I think they were like, I want to say they were like 1-5 or 1-6.
Right. Let's see, what else? Parsons was the 12th pick. He is 26. Miz's ERA at 4.5. That's one of the more disappointing things in sports. And so there you have it. Ted gets 6. I guess there were kind of a couple tricky ones in there. Parsons playing only 2 years in ball, and he I'm just going by Wikipedia. It just says he chose not to play because of COVID, and I don't have any idea why that was the case. It is Wednesday. Rayman is followed by Jason Wilde and followed by Tim Van Vooren. TVV has a new partner, doesn't he?
The Ticket King.
Ticket King. Jason's already got like 1 million partners.
Yeah, he's got enough.
He doesn't have a new one. But Jason Wilde will be next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Eastbound 94, we've got a crash at about 84th Street. Just about all ready to be cleared out of the way. Tow trucks just left on the scene right now. Eastbound at 35th Street, also a crash off on the right shoulder being worked on. Westbound still has those 2 left lanes blocked at 25th Street with some debris, some emergency road work being done. Backups all the way back through the Marquette. And then we've got one other accident on 894 eastbound at Loomis. It's off on the right shoulder. So watch out for the delay stretching back to about 27th Street. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. Football season is here. Add Kringle to your tailgate and make your guests' day. Order at kringle.com or call 1-800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Mostly cloudy, gradual clearing, breezy with the low 47 at the lake, 43 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, increasing clouds, and a chance for overnight showers, a high of 65. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more. Easy and affordable apparel personalization with no minimums and fast turnaround. For all your printing needs, bigfrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back September 9th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Texas Rangers.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in September 9th at 7:05 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Looking to heat up a career in HVAC?
Dick & Trout Heating and Cooling in Milwaukee is now hiring HVAC installers and service technicians. Family owned and operated, Dick & Trout offers competitive wages, a 401k match, health insurance benefits, and a winning, positive team culture that sets them apart. This is more than a job. It's a chance to grow with a company that truly values its people. Apply now to become their newest team member at dickandtrout.com. Dick & Trout Heating and Cooling. Come see the difference. Apply at dickandtrout.com.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
According to Time Magazine, Gen Z is drinking 20% less alcohol than all previous generations. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Over our 65 years in business, we've stayed up on all the trends, where you'll always find 2,000 varieties of beer, 4,000 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines. We now also stock over 100 varieties and growing of THCA, CBD, and Delta-9 non-alcoholic specialty-infused drinks. So whether you're experimenting with the latest wellness trend, or you just want something in your fridge that your college kid can call you cool for, come check out our expansive selection. And while you're at it, you do deserve that bottle of bourbon. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
And visit us online at discountliquorinc.com.
Rivalry baseball in September? It doesn't get any better. Join the Brewers as they battle the Cardinals Friday, September 12th through Sunday the 14th. While the action heats up, you can gear up for fall baseball with a Brewers crew neck giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on Saturday the 13th. Then bring the whole family for Looney Tunes Day on Sunday the 14th. The home stretch of the season is here, and you don't want to miss it. Get in on the action at brewers.com/tickets.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Skip the line and order online with the Cousin Subs mobile app and join the Cousins Club. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
everybody needs more information about the Green Bay Packers from Jason Wilde, you go to ESPN Wisconsin, the app, and you can catch all that Jason Wilde does. I don't have enough time to tell you all the different times, but you'll be smarter and better if you do it. Good afternoon, Jason.
Yeah, well, you've only got an hour show, so yeah, you gotta figure that out.
That's right. The Bold-a-thon today.
Yeah, I thought that went well right up until you and Tausch had a disagreement.
Yeah, I don't get why he's so bothered, but that's all right.
I don't know.
I heard him talk about it afterwards.
Yeah,
like,
I was a coward.
Speaks to how good I think the guy is. It's really that simple. And what he's done.
You do believe in him. There's no doubt. So look, for those that didn't tune in, we actually had a lot of fun today. It was great. I'm not a huge fan of bold predictions, frankly. You obviously have a history of delivering them. Some of them have hit the mark, some have not. I'm more interested in reporting what happens and then giving insight into what it means. But
yeah, I was going to say the not the bold-a-thon, the on the trunk-a-thon. What are the most obvious things? Because sometimes they don't all take place. What are some of the most obvious about this year's team for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest, most obvious thing, and it's something that you and I have talked about a bunch over the last, X number of weeks and probably months, is just, and the Micah Parsons thing has sucked up a colossal amount of the oxygen in terms of the conversation about this team, and rightfully so. It is a bold, talk about bold-a-thons, that is a bold move that they made and got him for not a song, but certainly for far less than I would have thought it would cost them. And so there's a reason why that's important, and I don't dispute that in the least. That said, I still think that this team will go as far as it can go, based on a lot of these guys that aren't so young anymore, elevating their games to a level where they play with a consistency as really good players, as opposed to the occasional really, really good players that they have been for their first 2 or 3 or even last season. So I think that, to me, is what I'm really intrigued by. Is Tucker Kraft going to be one of the best tight ends in the league? I think there's a chance that could be true. I think we could be talking about him and Edger and Cooper as 2 burgeoning Packers stars when this season is over. But that's incumbent on them. They have more elevating to do. Your guy does too, right? I mean, you have every reason to be excited about Edger and Cooper, and I don't begrudge you for that at all. But there's work to be done there. He is not by any means a finished product. So I'm eager to see what he is able to do. I'm eager to see what Jordan Love does to elevate his game, because it's great that you have Micah Parsons, and I think, there's the possibility that this defense could be as good or similarly as good. I don't know if it'll be as good, but similarly as good as that 96 defense. Being as good of a defense is a pretty tall order given how good they were in 96. But the reason that I'm fascinated is because the fact that, and Reggie White used to tell this story, I know Leroy Butler tells this story to this day, that they used to tell Favre, hey, don't worry about Holmgren, right? Holmgren's going to chew your ass out if you throw a pick, and we get it. But we're going to get you the ball back. Don't worry about it. We're going to get a stop, or we're going to get a takeaway of our own. So don't stop playing the way you play, worrying about, whether or not we're going to be able to take care of your mistakes. Go out there, and if you make a mistake, we're going to pick you up. And let's be honest, that's what that defense did. And this defense, if they can do that, then if Jordan Love, he's never going to throw as many picks as Favre would sometimes throw in seasons, but I think that would be freeing for him, because I do think that there are times when he takes too many risks, but I also think on the flip side, there are times when he then becomes mistake phobic because he's conscientious, and then, they kind of have to rely on Josh Jacobs to run the ball effectively and checkdowns to turn into big gains on short passes and guys make something happen with the ball in their hands with yards after the catch. So I'm really eager about the offense and defense and how they work in concert, because that is one thing that people forget about that 96 team. They were the best in the league on both sides of the ball. That's how you go win Super Bowls.
I also wanted to ask you about Kenny Clark, and certainly the Cowboys wanted him, but how good has he been? How good was he last year? Has he gotten a lot better because now he's been traded, or because the Cowboys have sold that this was a significant part of their interest in the deal?
Yeah, I don't know if it's been misleading that they really cared that much about getting Kenny Clark. I don't think that they've been spinning it or selling it that way. I do think, trading Micah Parsons. Right. That's what I was going to say. Trading Micah Parsons and then saying, well, we need to stop the run better. Yeah, okay. No one is believing you on that. Like, both things can be true, right? You do want to improve the run defense if you're Dallas, but at the same time, that's not why you traded him. So both those things can be the truth. And so they told half the truth. They do want to be better against the run, and Kenny Clark's going to help them. Look, Kenny Clark had the worst season of his career last year. He dealt with a foot injury that started on the slick turf in Sao Paulo, Brazil in the opener. This again, for all the guff that Jair Alexander takes, this is why players are largely damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Because we were killing Jair Alexander for not playing through injury in our perception, right? Which I didn't do that nearly as much as others, but I questioned it. I'm hand to God, I'm guilty of that as well. And then at the same time, we're talking about how Kenny Clark has not been productive, and he's playing through an injury. The easy thing, if you're going to get criticized either way, you might as well keep collecting the checks and then not play poorly by just not playing. But that's not how Kenny's wired. So, he also was playing in a 4-3 for the first time in his life, which does matter. I was talking to him about this earlier in camp. He wasn't head up on the center at nose tackle. That is where he's most comfortable, and we've certainly seen how dominant he can be in that role. I mean, I don't know who the center was for Minnesota a couple of years ago, but frankly, it felt like he did it to whoever the Minnesota center was. Bradbury, not Ray Bradbury, who wrote those books, but James Bradbury, maybe. I mean, he was depositing, and it wasn't just him. It was another center a couple of years earlier. Like, just put him right back in the backfield. Like, it was embarrassing. And last year, he didn't play head up against the center, and he was uncomfortable. He was playing on one or the other side of him. And so, I think in Dallas, he's going to get back to doing that. I think there's a good chance he's going to be a really good player for them. Is he going to be a field tilting player? Probably not. But I think he's going to be really good for him. And again, the one thing I will say, and I talked to a few people about Parsons this week. Not everyone universally loved him in their locker room. Not everyone loved him doing a podcast, just like not everyone in this building loved Rodgers going on McAfee every week. Heck, back when we were doing the show, they were worried about it. Like, they were worried about something he might say on our show. And that was, long before all the other stuff that he got into during the McAfee era. So, Micah Parsons is not a perfect person, and there may be an issue or two that spring up with him that wouldn't have sprung up with Kenny Clark. But the upside with him is preposterous. I mean, the opportunity that they have to be so good with him as part of their pass rush package is undeniable. So there are guys in that locker room that really miss Kenny. I wrote about it today on Channel 3000. Like, he is the definitive big bro mentor type. And when you lose a guy like that, Tausch will always tell you the league comes at you fast and you have to move on quickly. And those guys are doing that. But I can guarantee you they go to their meetings and they look around for 97, and it is not the same without him in there.
I just don't remember that many discussions about how important he was.
He had 2 years ago, Homer, he had 7.5 sacks, which is unheard of for a nose tackle.
Yes.
If you go back and look at his run defense grades, he is a really good run player when healthy. But if your memory bank is only thinking about last year, you're right. And I'm not saying this as a shot at Kenny. Kenny would tell you this is his worst season. I mean, maybe his rookie year when he didn't get to play a lot, and he was, he was barely 20 years old when they drafted him. So, he wasn't very good last year. There's no two ways about it. But I think his historical work, his resume, is pretty damn good.
You mentioned 96. They gave up 210 points in 16 games.
Yeah.
Last year, the Packers gave up 338. To match, because there's one more game, to match that team, the Packers would have to go from 338 down to 225. And you want a challenge for this team and for this defense, that would be it. You get to 225, come talk to me.
Yeah, similarly dominant. It's also, we have to be honest, it is a different game. I'm not nearly as old as you. We're not talking about Don Hudson and Old Testament here. But the game in 1996 is very different than the game it is in 2025.
I'll have to check how many points per game were scored, because that's a good point. But
still,
210 was impressive.
No, they're not going to be that good. But there's been a couple of defenses. Let's look at who led the league in scoring defense last year, because the Packers, they were good enough for sixth last year, even with that many points allowed, right? So that's not exactly unrealistic to look at them. So, all right, so in the NFL, in the regular season last year, the number one scoring defense in the league was the Los Angeles Chargers, who allowed 17.7 points per game. The Philadelphia Eagles were next with 17.8. So if you're talking 17 games times 17-ish, let's say 18, just because it's easier for me to do the math, that's 306 points. I mean, you give up 210 points in a 16-game season. That's, 13, 14 points a game?
Yeah, yep. It's almost about 14.
Nobody's doing that in 2025.
No, I would great. I think they were at 338 last year. You get under 300.
Yeah, then you're really cooking.
Then you're cooking. That's a fair way to put it. And I agree with you. I think it's very important also in terms of all stats to look at, and that's why I like quarterback QBR, quarterback plus, because it factors in what quarterbacks were doing, and there were some amazing in terms of what people were doing compared to the league average versus what it is now. So 210 then this year, you get to 300. You're getting close to what they did, given the way the game's played. So,
and I mean, look, let's not take away from Don Capers' defense. In 2010 when they won the title too. Like, that was a defense that gave up 14.5. Pittsburgh was 14.5 points a game in the regular season. The Packers were 15 points a game. So if the 2025 defense gives up 15 points a game, that would land them with 255 points allowed. That would be well south of that 300 thing that you were mentioning.
Yeah. No, you're it's even moved up a little bit since then. Anything else? Because this is, as stated, the day 7 of Micah Parsons. Is there anything else regarding the Packers that needs some attention that isn't getting it because of day 7?
Yeah, several. Yeah, I mean, look, I've got a few stories I want to get caught up on that got backburnered because of Micah Parsons mania. But I will say this, and I really appreciate the fact that Jaden Reed, he talked again today, and he was given every opportunity to claim that my report that he has a Jones fracture in his foot is inaccurate, and he did not do that. So I feel good about that. He did not practice today. I don't feel good about that. They're trying to figure out ways to manage him so he can play. But, that's the type of injury that it's not going to get much better if he's going to keep playing on it, even if they rest it multiple times a week. So he didn't practice. Nate Hobbs didn't practice. I wouldn't get my hopes up. We'll see if he does something tomorrow. But, he injured his knee, tore the meniscus on the 31st of July. He has not practiced since, underwent surgery 2 days after the injury. So I'm guessing they're going to be without him in week 1.
So who will be the starters at cornerback? What's the...
Well, so I'm glad you asked, because I think what's interesting, and I was talking to Javon Bullard today about this. So it'll be Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine on the outside. And then on the inside, it's going to be Javon Bullard, which I think even if Hobbs is healthy, it's still Bullard on the inside, which tells you how confident they are in him as a second-year guy who's primarily a safety. Both Hobbs and Nixon have been nickel, inside guys during their careers. And yet, instead of taking one of them and pushing them inside and then putting Carrington Valentine as the replacement on the outside for them, I think they feel really good about what Javon Bullard gives them defensively. So, he's a stout guy, physical safety type who can help stop the run in passing situations. And then they think that his coverage skills, well, you certainly wouldn't want him out on an island outside. They think on that in the inside area that he can be effective. Now, that's going to be a huge matchup because Amon-Ra St. Brown starts out in the slot a lot. So that is something to keep an eye on. The other thing that I think is important that people know is that Jordan Love continues to practice. He still has a protective thing on his left non-throwing hand after the surgery to repair the torn ligament in his left thumb. But he has now even said to us today he's going to hand off with his left hand, which for the last week and a half after the surgery and after the stitches were taken out, he was not handing off that way. He was handing off with his right hand, even if the run was to the right, which is asking for a fumble. So it sounds like he's going to be himself going forward.
And I think the best bet is Jordan Love in the first game. I think it's rushing yards more than 4.5. I think we had that with Keegan. That seems like a guarantee, right? I mean, he's just going to run more because he can run, and he couldn't last year.
Yeah, you would certainly. I know that that's something he wants to do. Now, again, I think he would tell you, and others would tell you, that no one is expecting him to morph into Lamar Jackson and be running to that degree. But if he's running once or twice more, and he's, more importantly, his superpower, if he has one, is his ability to move within the pocket to avoid pressure and make a throw. He's not as good as Rodgers was at it, but he's pretty darn good. So I don't think you want him running for a lot more than 4.5 yards. But, he runs 3 times for 8 yards and picks up a couple short first downs. I think you're feeling pretty good.
And I would think that he would like to show everybody that he's fine. And without,
For sure he would. But, again, he's also got to be smart. Like, he took a sack in his last play against the Jets, and that's how he jacked up his thumb.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Can you? I'm incapable of understanding that. In a JV game.
Yeah. Well, and again, he was giving me a hard time about it, but I had no idea it was just a blind squirrel. But I asked him about the play after the game, and I'm like, don't you have to be smarter than that? Like,
you're too
important. Game doesn't count.
Yes.
Right. That was exactly my point. And I think he got a kick out of the fact that I was right, which doesn't happen very often.
No, I don't know about that. All right. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. More from Tim Van Vooren. He's not next. He's soon. I am next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Southbound on 43. We do have some backups because of a crash right about at Fond du Lac Avenue. The right lane is blocked, so watch out for that. Delays coming down from Capitol Drive. The westbound 94, 2 left lane blocked thing with the debris and the road work. Looks like they got that all taken care of, and they have been able to reopen those lanes. Still backed up through the Marquette, but at least things are getting better. On the eastbound side of 94, you're backing up from before Highway 100 all the way through the Stadium interchange to about 35th Street. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. Football season is here. Add Kringle to your tailgate and make your guests' day. Order at kringle.com or call 1-800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mostly cloudy, gradual clearing, breezy, a low of 47 at the lake, 43 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, increasing clouds, and a chance for overnight showers, a high of 65. Weather's brought to you by IKEA Oak Creek. At IKEA Oak Creek, making your home uniquely yours is now more rewarding. Join Rewards from IKEA Family and start earning points today. Not a member yet? Sign up for free at IKEA.com/US and start earning. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hi, I'm Jim Frucci, Managing Partner and PGA Professional at Morningstar Golfers Club, and I'd like to personally invite you to play your next round of golf at Morningstar. Lush green fairways, velvet smooth greens, magnificent vistas from high above our championship golf course. Morningstar was created with the serious golfer in mind, and it continues to be the public course by which all other area public courses are measured. Book your tee time today and reserve a spot on our membership wait list. Come out and see what all of Southeast Wisconsin's been talking about. Hey, you've played the rest. Now play the best.
It's more than just a game, it's a cause worth cheering for. Join Sippy Hippie at the Coaches vs. Cancer Tailgate Friday, September 5th in Slinger. Fuel up with a full espresso bar, flavored Red Bulls, fresh lemonades, bakery treats, and check out the brand new cocktail lounge inside a vintage VW van. At Sippy Hippie, everyone's welcome because this is about more than coffee. It's about community and the fight against cancer. Come tailgate, celebrate, and make a difference at the 15th annual Coaches vs. Cancer game. Learn more or donate at sippyhippie.com.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Matt Jones.
The only analogy to Alabama football in terms of the fans, it's Kentucky basketball. And the two things they have in common is they're both in a state that don't have pro sports teams. The city of Louisville is the largest city in America without a pro sports team. I would think the city of Birmingham is close. If it's not second, it might be third or fourth. Alabama and Kentucky are driven as a state by the athletics department. It's the economic engine of the state. One of them is sports. So you cannot fail. At Kentucky, it's basketball. At Alabama, it's football. But you cannot fail. And so when Kalen DeBoer loses a game in that state, it's not just a loss. It's a cultural and economic problem. And that sounds like hyperbole. But go ask the people in that state who run those cities what it's like. If Alabama football is not Alabama football, the whole state is a little different. So you're exactly right. They can't accept losses.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
In March 2017, police in Ketchikan, Alaska, got a worried call.
And I haven't heard from them, so I'm getting worried.
It was about a beloved surgeon, one of just two in town, named Eric Garcia. When police officers arrived to check on the doctor, they found him dead on a couch.
Is it a suicide? Is it a murder? What is it?
From ABC Audio and 2020, Cold-Blooded Mystery in Alaska is out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Tim Van Vooren is brought to you by The Ticket King, your local and most trusted source for Green Bay football tickets. Visit theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007. You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Tim Van Vooren coming up. No one cares about tennis, I get it. You don't even know who the player is, so I won't mention names. But in the finals of Wimbledon, she lost 6-0, 6-0. And then now the two played again, and she didn't lose 6-0, 6-0. She actually won. It will go down as one of the great comebacks ever in the history of tennis. it's like shooting I mean, there's no way to compare it if I was going to say like golf or whatever. You have to have a sport in which you're competing against someone, and it's not possible. Anything's possible. It might be right up there with Micah Parsons in terms of it's not possible. No, it is possible because it happened. Tim Van Vooren coming up in a little bit. Fisco Auto Body, it's a family business owned since 1931. Auto body work on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. How can they be that good? How do I know they're that good? Well, I've seen their work, but more than that, it's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. Yes, the family's still doing the work. Fiscos are still doing the work. Imagine how young they were when they started, which is why they can be so good now. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Any damage, Fisco has you covered on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco. And Higher Love Cannabis Company, located just over the border in Menominee, Michigan, like 12 seconds over the border. Visit today. Easy stop before or after the game or on your way through town. Higher Love Cannabis Company in Menominee, Michigan. Award-winning, trusted and the best in the Midwest. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the real deal. Low-quality, unregulated products in Wisconsin. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the safe, trusted brand you can count on. Organically grown, locally owned. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the best in the Midwest. Less than an hour from Green Bay. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD for more info. Tim Van Vooren next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Philly deserves to be the top dog, and Green Bay deserves to be right below. The expectation game and the pressure is ramped up with what happened yesterday.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
All right, you better be ready to take that on. I see Shido talking about Super Bowl. I'm guessing there'll be a conversation about tamping that down a little bit, but the cat's out of the bag. This is a championship window, and the championship window started yesterday.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Football season is here. Don't wait to get tickets for Sunday's home opener against Detroit. Ticket King has you covered. With offices in Milwaukee and Green Bay, Ticket King is your local and most trusted source for Green Bay football tickets. Take in the amazing experience of Green Bay football by visiting theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007. You'll feel good that you're getting the best value when you work with the Ticket King. Guaranteed. Theticketking.com. It's not sold out until the King is sold out. Theticketking.com.
I've been to my fair share of green and gold games, and the best way to get there is with Accutrans Group. At Good Karma Brands and ESPN Milwaukee, we use Accutrans Group to get our partners to and from Green Bay, and it's always first class. From stadiums to concerts and tailgates, your game day fun starts the moment you step on board. Sit back, relax, and let their professional chauffeurs handle the traffic while you enjoy the ride. Accutrans Group is Milwaukee's premier ground transportation, available 24/7 with sedans, SUVs, limos, vans, and buses. Book today at AccuTransGroup.com.
Looking to heat up a career in HVAC?
Dick & Trough Heating and Cooling in Milwaukee is now hiring HVAC installers and service technicians. Family owned and operated, Dick & Trough offers competitive wages, a 401k match, health insurance benefits, and a winning, positive team culture that sets them apart. This is more than a job. It's a chance to grow with a company that truly values its people. Apply now to become their newest team member at dickandtrough.com. Dick & Trough Heating and Cooling. Come see the difference. Apply at dickandtrough.com.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
Ready to watch the Packers like a VIP? Cousins Subs put you in the center of it all. On the 50-yard line in plush recliner seats, complete with personal TVs and your favorites delivered from Cousins Subs. 2 pairs of fans are selected before each regular season home game to enjoy this one-of-a-kind experience. Enter daily to win the best seats in the house. Only from Cousins Subs. Cousins Subs. We believe in better. See rules and eligibility for details.
Football's back, and if you're headed up toward Green Bay, the perfect stop is Higher Love Cannabis Company, just seconds over the border in Menominee, Michigan. Less than an hour from Green Bay. An easy stop before or after the game or anytime you're passing through town. And with so many low-quality, unregulated CBD products floating around Wisconsin, trust matters. Higher Love, award-winning, organically grown, locally owned, and the real deal. Higher Love Cannabis Company, best in the Midwest. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Vooren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. Tim Van Vooren is brought to you by The Ticket King, your local and most trusted source for Green Bay football tickets. Visit theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007.
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports, 3-time Wisconsin sportscaster, their Hall of Fame wingman, and now can't wait for his thought on the Green Bay Packers, Day 7 of Micah Parsons. TVV, good afternoon.
Homer, good afternoon from Green Bay. It's always a pleasure.
You always have some reservation when you feel it's appropriate. Do you still have any reservation left about what this Packer team could do now with the addition of Micah Parsons? Take it away, TVV.
I have no reservations about what this Packer team could do.
Good.
You take a big swing, they add a significant impact player, they're paying a lot of money. So he's got to be on the field. He's got to be that impact player, not just his own numbers, Homer. It's the numbers of other people around him. It's the impact of the game. That's where Micah Parsons can do something beyond the pale. There's been talk in the last week about Reggie White and Micah Parsons, who's, of course, a different generation, but he's like, wow, I was reading his stats. That's amazing. Other people like Reggie White's stats. You remember when Reggie White came to the Packers? It wasn't about stats. It was about presence and command and what he could do for just shift a football game. Is Micah Parsons going to be that player? We'll see. I commend Brian Gutekunst for going and doing it because we've talked long and hard about the solid core of the Packers.
Yep.
You need more than just a solid core. This is taking a shot at getting somebody who can do something in that category.
Since you mentioned Reggie White, I used it as part of Rayman. They won their title in Reggie White's 4th year in Green Bay, not his first.
And that sentence is kind of painful when you say it because they won their title singular. Okay,
right?
But
it took a while,
has to come
even
together.
as great as he was.
I know the point you're making there, but it was not immediate. And the point I would add to it is it doesn't guarantee sustained success. Yes, they went to back-to-back Super Bowls, but they didn't win back-to-back Super Bowls. So, I really do commend the Packers. I think, Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur, you have 2 years left on your contract. You have a new president coming in. You have room on your salary cap. You're in a competitive division. All of it makes sense. I think that the compensation they yielded was very fair. I'm all about the Packers making this move, but it's on them to do it. I think it was Jordan Love today who was saying, rosters don't win games. You have to go out there and do it. And he's right. They have a lot of players that people get excited about, but they have to go out there and do it. And I think the pressure goes up on Matt LaFleur significantly now, less so Brian Gutekunst, but, to those two gentlemen, I would say LaFleur more so because, this is a proven commodity has been delivered to your roster, which was already seen as a good roster, solid roster. Now, what do the Packers do about it?
I spoke of the Packers, and you said, yes, what they could do. You didn't say will do. What reservation prevents you from saying will do?
They were in pretty good shape last year at the start of December, and then they sputtered down the stretch, and it was because of the offense, Homer. Remember those last few games? The offense just kind of sputtered, for lack of a different word. So this is a team game. You know, they had McManus by then. They had a healthy defense in Jeff Hafley's system that was doing its job, holding the scores down, etc. Couldn't outscore those other teams. So you're going to have to be consistent on offense. Let your defense do what it should do, which even Matt LaFleur today was kind of animated, I thought, in saying against the Lions on Sunday, hey, look, our defense has to go out and take the ball away. I hadn't heard him that directly kind of make that plea or that, vow that adamantly in the past. I think everybody recognizes this is a big step up. The expectations go up from where they were already, pretty high. But nothing is handed to you.
What do you think is the number one most important thing to watch about this Packer team?
I'm going to say it's the offense. I think you have to be able to consistently score. Josh Jacobs, to me, was terrific last year, right? 1,300 yards, Homer. Isn't that great? How many do you think Jahmyr Gibbs had? Over 1,400. In a backfield that had David Montgomery. So, now granted, the Lions are one of the all-time most productive offenses going, and that's why Ben Johnson is now a head coach and all that stuff. But Josh Jacobs is huge on their offense. There's a big drop-off behind him. And even with him last year rolling as he did on a relatively regular basis, they needed more from that side of the ball. So Jordan Love has to just deliver a little bit more consistently. And is it going to be Tucker Kraft? Is it going to be Matthew Golden? Who else is going to really emerge as somebody that is almost indefensible offensively? And if they get that, then they should be really good because they have a lot of pieces. They're still young, but they're experienced. All those things apply. But I'll go back to what you said. They could be great. Yeah, they could be. That's right. So now it's on them to do it.
So you still have reservation? I mean, the goal has to be win the division and get to the NFC Championship game. Are you expecting that? Are you hoping for that?
I would think they should expect that. Yeah, you make a trade like where would you have slotted the Packers in this division 10 days ago, Homer?
Second.
Where do you slot the Packers in the division now?
First.
Okay.
But I don't count. That's why I'm not as tough as you. This discussion today, it's the way I felt you talk about the Packers in recent years. Yeah, but I thought TVV's on fire. Yes, this is, and you still have that same.
You know, if I was in Detroit, Homer, I would say they can be good again too. Or Minnesota, they can be good again too. I just think there's so many unknowns in a very competitive division. I think, and I mentioned it, I think these teams could finish anywhere along the way. You know, I don't really love the Bears, but they're going to play a fourth-place schedule, and they've got better talent, and they're going to beat some teams. The Packers should be exactly what you said, the favorites to win this division and advance, well into the playoffs. They should have been a legitimate playoff, contender team to make some noise before this trade. So certainly they should be after this trade. And I commend them across the board for the trade. The guy has played 4 productive seasons in the NFL. If you're going to pay anybody, that's the type of player you should pay. You're getting younger, and you're getting an impact player. So, yes, that's great. I think you lose something with Kenny Clark, but Kenny Clark did not have a tremendous year last year. Everybody thinks he's going to be better this year because of health, but, you're not subtracting a monster amount from last year, even though he did help you, definitely improve against the run.
I will say...
The Packers,
go ahead.
No, you should be optimistic about the Packers, for sure. But as I said in one of my previous comments, nothing is handed to you.
But you're not that optimistic. You're like a little optimistic. You were way more optimistic on the Packers in 96. All right, so Jordan Love, when somebody asks you, TVV, give me 30 seconds on your expectations for Jordan Love this season.
Jordan Love will be a very competent leader for the Packers. If he plays as consistently as he showed over half a season that he can, he will be a top 10 quarterback, which makes them a top 5 football team. If he's not consistent, that puts a lot of pressure on the other people around him.
And will the Packers defeat the Detroit Lions in their season opener on Sunday?
I'll give you a 1-0 on that. I think they're going to be pretty tight when they take the field, but I do think they'll win it.
You're the best, TVV. Thanks. Tim Van Vooren, listen closely. I thought we were going to get a little more. I thought a little bit more. I'm never complaining. Next.
All right, that accident southbound 43 at Fond du Lac Avenue has now been pushed off to the right shoulder. So just something to